Hi. In a recent video, I have asked if some of you would be willing to confront some of your past lives where you might have been bad, kind of like your dark side. And, we're going to go deeper into this, but there was like one person that left a comment that I thought like it would be great to go a bit deeper into it. So Lady Demigod was saying, I have heard this concept before, but if that's true, then there is no such thing as true justice. We should accept all forms of mistreatments because we did the same thing to others in the past lives we don't remember. And does it mean I will have to hurt the same people in the next life? And when will it all end with a lifetime after lifetime of hurting each other? So it's a really great question. And like one thing I want to focus on is that it's more like that's why I call it the game, because it's not necessarily okay, you hurt me, I'm gonna hurt you. It's literally an exploration, and we're talking billions of years at least. It's not like before coming here on Earth you were with Lyrans and Pleiadians and whatever your race is, or your group of people. And when doing that, you might have healed someone, like just helping out, like, oh, these are my people, I'm a healer, this is my thing, I do this. And you piss off some reptilians because you get in the way, and that's why on Earth you get attacked. That's the casual story. Like a lot of people, like, yeah, that's like, I'm a threat, yeah, cool. But before coming here, like the whole 3D, let's skip 3D. You might have lived here in the 3D, like physical universe, for thousands of years, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions, doesn't matter. But then 4D, 5D, 6D, all these dimensions is just like a radio dial, like turning the TV channel. It's nothing but that. There's different concepts of reality, different concepts of physics and how everything works. It's super hard to put in words because, like, one thing for me is I have perception and I can see things, and how the hell do I describe it with a second language that I haven't mastered yet? It was like already hard enough. But then a lot of people, like, you take this, there's a little, like a binocular thing, I think it's called kaleidoscope maybe, but you literally look through the eye and you turn the little thing, this, and it just turns into the most beautiful imagery, into like, it's just like kind of like psychedelic or whatever, like, but you can just have pictures and like, what the hell is that? But like, that could be like reality, that could be someone's world. Anyway, what I mean is, whenever we're looking into some of the issues we have, like, people want me to recall their past lives. I want to know who I was before. And I'm like, okay, let's get specific, because you've been a lot of things, you did a lot of things. So we usually just go recalling a past life by a pain they have, because that's the best way to go. Not the most pleasant one, but let's say if you have myopia, if you have back pain, if you have migraine, if you have certain thing going on to you, like, some people will have this visual blindness here. And what I mean is, like, yeah, you can see the physical world, that's fine. But when you're trying to see something spiritually, sort of close your eyes and imagine this and have the scenery and everything else, a lot of people don't have that. But let's look into why can't you see anything? And we would look a lot of cases where, like, people talk about their third eye. Okay, well, like your third eye, your spiritual eye, which means like this place, it allows you to see beyond the physical world. What happens? And we look at, okay, well, you having visuals, and then there's an incident that closes off visuals. So, okay, you get shot in the head, you get like an arrow in the head, you get your head cut off, you fall off the cliff and hit your head on a rock, and there's just a bunch of these things that I'm mentioning that might already trigger something in your world. Like, oh, like, that's kind of like painful, ow, so we're just like sort of like going with the most recent things we can remember. And that's like, well, 500 years ago, 1500 years ago, 5,000, 27,000. You just keep on going with what was last time. Because let's say you had a lifetime where, okay, like someone pushed you off the cliff. And as you fell off the cliff and you hit your head in the rock, and you saw the world, and everything's blank and you die. Life after that, you explore, and you might be completely on a whole different thing. You never hurt your head, you still have your visuals, you might have the most beautiful life or go sideways, whatever, but that's fine. But sometime later, that incident happens again. You have visuals, you hurt your head, specifically this area. So when we track incidents, there's going to be huge gaps of time. It's not like one after the other, life after life after life after life, one after another, simultaneously, continuously. It's not going to be that. They have like, okay, well, before birth, so like you had your life here on earth is one thing where you had a little injury, or already here on earth, you don't have visuals. Let's look into why. And then you go into the last time you recall, the latest, the most freshest memory of when did your visuals close. And you're like, well, I remember this little scenery and it's kind of funny. I hope I'm not making this up. Am I? And you just like throw this idea. Well, you recall it. You would for no reason to like make it up and all. But like literally finding the date, the duration, how it happened, how it affected you, how do you think about it, it's like you can find huge gaps. Like hundreds of thousands of years past. You've had quite a few lifetimes of various different lives that have no connection with your forehead or visuals or anything else. They will have you being an engineer, for example. You will be gardening. You will be like doing tons of other things that you can imagine of possibly doing. And when we're looking specifically for why don't I have visuals, we're looking to incidents of, pain and unconsciousness. So when you go and fall back enough, as in like sort of rewind the time, you're going to go into one incident, two incidents, three, four. We have a lot of them. And it's not like everyone has the same amount of incidents, but let's say specifically on whatever closed your visuals, you had 27 lifetimes. And you go into the freshest memory or like the origins of where it all started. But that is the origins of something happening to you that caused it, that closed off the visuals. And you're going in right before it happened to you. There's this being who's like, well, okay, I did my time. Now it's your turn. And you're like, yeah, deal. You see probably some videos on the internet where there's two kids in the trash bin. And this kid is like ready. One pushes the pedal, the other one gets this like trash lid hit in the face and like, okay, your turn. Okay, your turn. And they just hit each other, your turn. And for them, it's fun. So basically, when we look at recalling past lives and what did I do to others, it's not really karmic. Beings don't actually come after you and how do we end it all? A lot of times it's mere agreement. Mere like, oh, well, yeah, I kind of feel bad about doing it to you. How about we make it square and even, like, let me experience that too. You might have accidentally bumped into someone and they just got a little thing and now they can't see and you're, oh, I'm so sorry. Let me have it too. It's kind of like just being good being. So it's like one variation. But there are a bunch of lifetimes where we will have something happen to us, but then we will recall one or two or more lifetimes of where we did it to others. And that is more like you were just playing a game. The rules were different. When you're playing football and you're getting, a ball kick in your face, like, oh, damn it, someone scored. My time to turn, like, to get the score. But the game changes. It's like having this, let's say, a console or a PC, and at any time you can choose to play any different game. At any time you can choose to watch a different movie, listen to a different song. It is your choice to what you want to experience. During that experience, you will encounter beings. And those beings, sometimes there's going to be a great adventure. Other times, they just have different opinion. They're like, oh, well, I didn't really like it. And you're, oh, okay, well, we're done. Sorry. You can be understanding and everything, and that's fine. Other times, it just builds up. You know how in this life, you will have relationships where there are some people who will not express themselves. They're still learning, or they got some shit for expressing themselves. And so whenever something happens, they kind of hold it in. They don't tell you about it. They don't tell you what hurt them. They don't tell you what's wrong. And so you don't really have the full perspective of what's up, but they're disappointed. they're unhappy. And I'm like, did I do something? They're like, no, it's fine. So there will be incidents in your lifetimes where you do something. Let's say you're in a war zone. At some point, you have experienced the life of a warrior. You stood in a field. And in that life, there is no pain. In that life, it doesn't hurt. Death is a mere thing of, like blinking. Your physical or like the body you have disappears and then you get back. And there it is. You can go back on the field, you can play. And some people like play, I don't know, Call of Duty, Battlefield, CSGO. Well, CSGO like depends on matches. It's not the competitive, but is that playing where free play. Just join, have fun, shoot at somebody, kill them, and then you scored. Like, yay. Some people will kind of like get like, damn it, I don't like this anymore. And they can get out. But they will remember you that like that guy was so fucking good. Fucking cheater. So like they can see something about you that they don't like. Other times, hey, you love someone and someone had their eyes on a person you fell in love with and the person that loves you. And there was this third party that was kind of late, that never expressed those feelings, that never took their chances. And so now they hold somewhat of a grudge on you. And they end up being the third party. So there's going to be relationships where there's always this third person, the third party. You and someone you like or someone you love or someone you care about, and that third person, the third wheel, like the fifth leg on a fucking dog. Like, who needs that? No one. But they're in the way. And so it's not like you have lifetime after lifetime after lifetime of the same old thing. It's not like a common agreement. It's just there are times where you piss someone off. And the way to deal with that is once you have an awareness, let's say, hey, okay, so there are people in my life that are messing with me. How do I end it off? I don't want it anymore. And that's fine. You need to get out of the game. Because if you have done it back and forth, they do it to you, you do it to them. All you have to do is have a conversation, literally. And you go into being a nice little psychologist, life coach, a friend that understands and listens and helps. It's not about you anymore. It's about them. Because you want to end it off, so you have to please them, give them what they need, and then you get out. And let's say if someone has like that love triangle, right? So the person you love, that's fine. But that third party that gets in the way, you don't have to get together with them in real life. But spiritually, let's say, yeah, that being, that consciousness that keeps coming after me and gets in the way, that one. And you go like as if you would be communicating to someone, sort of like you can sit, you can meditate, you can sort of like, hey, you and Sally or Jimmy or whoever, and you kind of like have like, again, like it's all about the essence of the being that you want to talk to. The physical body doesn't matter, the looks, it's not a thing. But what do they make you feel like? What's their energy? What's their personality? What's their character like? And once you define that, you know who you're talking to, you know what's the being. Though it looks doesn't matter because it's always going to be different in other lives. And when you talk to them, it's like, hey, I love this person and I noticed you love them too. And from your perspective, I'm in the way. I kind of ruined it for you. So I just want to say, and you do that Ho'oponopono thing. Like, please forgive me. Please forgive me for taking away your lover. I'm sorry that I've ruined your life and your chances and that you're unhappy. And, like, thank you for allowing me to talk to you and know that I love you. Kind of like whatever you want to say, whatever feels good for you. Because there's times you're going to be pissed and you're like, fuck you, I'm not going to talk to that. I'm not going to be all nice when they're ruining my life. Like, fuck that shit. Like, that's fine. That perspective is good as well. But eventually, you want to get them out of your life so that they wouldn't keep coming after you. And the best thing to do is give them that option. So like, hey, if that person keeps coming after someone you love and they're always the third party because they're kind of like on revenge of, I'm going to ruin for you. You ruined for me. I'm coming back after you. And all you do is like, hey, how about we create this world, the realm, the same way we create the pocket realms, dreamscapes, the way you daydream and imagine the scenery, you offer them a place. What would be the perfect place where you would love to be with that person? What would it look like? And you might get ideas and thoughts, you might get like right answer, and you can create that. You can create that world for them. And in that world, hey, you and that person, it's all up for you. You can go do your stuff. I'm not going to be there. It's all yours. And they can have a relationship and go be happy and do whatever. But it's finally like they got what they wanted. They wanted the other person. And in that reality, they get one of the aspects to do all that stuff with. And you, it's like, hey, I'm out of your picture more. In this life, this person is mine. In that life, that person is yours. And it's kind of like cutting ties. So a lot of times when I recall past lives and I work with people, I'm always sort of looking for solutions. And for me, it starts, and the best way I notice is that what can I give to them that they need? If they keep coming after me because they lost their children, because their planet was invaded, because someone took over their home or something else happened, or maybe they had this grand plan of, hey, this place is going to be our territory. We're going to take over. We're going to rule. We're going to have all the fun. And you get in the way, being super powerful and like getting things out of the way and destroying spaceships and everything else. You piss someone off. And you do like, oh, I had no idea I hurt you. I'm sorry. How about I create a world where you can do your thing? So in this whole existence, it's all about freedom. People want to be free. And if they can do whatever they want to do in that reality, that's great. There will be some limits, but the thing is, once you get out of the duality, the good, the bad, right and the wrong, it doesn't matter anymore. All those choices, people are just trying things out. Yeah, there have been times where you played some role and you've hurt someone, but at the same time, you can choose to leave and create a place or go to a place that has no connections to any of those beings. You can have your place to rest, to do whatever you want, and that is fine. It's also like, how much would you like to confront? How much would you like to know? You don't have to get into all of that and undo it and satisfy everyone. Like, no, you don't have to. No one really gives a damn. It's just that if there are times where you feel like you're attacked, would you like to deal with this? And then if you go into dealing with it, then we go into recalling, why are you being targeted? And in one of those is you did something too. It's not just everything done to you, you did something too. And might be just a few cases, and that's fine. But anyway, we feel like sort of like hope that it gives you like an easier mind, because it's not as bad as it sounds. Literally, it's like freedom of choice. You want to do whatever you want to do. As a consciousness, you explore. You know, what kind of identity do you want to have today? Every day you can have a different life, different looks, different body, different feelings, and you can choose to live for billions of years in peace and love and be all nice and do whatever you want to do. But if there are times where you choose, like, you want something new and you want to get into something and you go out with friends for a drink and then something happens and you get involved in stuff, that's an experience too. But in those experiences, like, there's going to be like consequences. Will you piss someone off? And you can deal with them by just talking. That's fine. But some other people are like, hey, well, let's play the game. Some people like to go racing on the go-karts, or let's say riding horses or sports and stuff, and they just, play it out. There will be universes and worlds where you might want to play it out, and let's say on a war zone, on a video game level, on playing with toys, or who can eat more, like, most chocolate. There's going to be tons of various experiences. Who creates the best universe ever? Like, maybe that. But at some point, like, I know a lot of people who in this world are being messed with, but then when we look at who's messing with them, it's a person they've had a very long connection with. And it's kind of like best friends, but kind of like rivals. It's not really a competition that you have to beat, but someone that wants you to get better with them. And you just happen to be on Earth. Well, they might be here or might not be here, but they do have an effect on you to make you a better person. And it doesn't mean that Earth is a school and you have to learn. No, it's like all you have to do is understand the concept of that one little agreement you had before coming on Earth. Maybe making you a better person is like, well, I want you to sort of like experience the best life possible and tell me if ours was better or not. And that might be a challenge. And in this life, you might have the most wonderful, everlasting love. And then you can compare it with the being I was before coming here, the being I was with before coming here on earth. Was that relationship better or not? Like there can be good examples. Like some people might just have, like, let's say, being the best salesperson. Did you do a better job there or here? It's not necessarily all about bad things of, I'm going to show you and you're going to suffer. Like there are those times, sure, but you can always cancel, like, hey, I don't want to play it anymore. Listen, I'm on earth. It got really hard. I'm getting out. We can get back on it when I tell you to, but right now I'm done. And you just get yourself out of the game. You kind of like cancel the agreement to compete, to be the rival, to be whatever for that being. And usually like, oh, okay, fine, I'll wait. And that stuff ends. So it goes in lots of ways, but it's not like lifetime after lifetime of like doing that to others and they do it to you. You can get out at any time. Just kind of like, again, agreements, decisions, talking to them, communication. And there's like huge gaps of times and what's going on. Because just because you're being hunted here on earth, it doesn't mean that after this world, you're going to be doing it to others or that's going to happen to you again. It might take 5 trillion years until you experience of, oh, here it is. Here's that person again. They wanted to tease me. And okay, let's find out what's about. So like lots of variations. But anyway, if you have any more questions or want to discuss it deeper and stuff, like leave the comments below and we'll go at it. So thanks for watching and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.